Hello, it's been a while since I've done a video, mostly because of my health problems. Oftentimes, the most I can do pretty much is listen and watch other people's videos recently because I'm in a lot of chronic pain. But I've been meaning for a long time to do an update on Velvet. You can see here she's gotten much bigger since the last video I did of her. And I'm finally getting Windows Movie Maker to work correctly. For a while there, some of my videos that I tried with Movie Maker, people were telling me that the volume was too soft. And I had it turned up all the way, and I'm not really sure what was going wrong, but for some reason the sound wasn't that good, and the picture also was not very good. But I think maybe after some automatic updates, some of those problems may have been fixed. But yeah, I wanted to do an update on Velvet. She has gotten quite a bit heftier, I think, since you last saw her. I thought for a while there that she was going to be toward the bigger end for ball pythons, around 5 feet, because I guess during during the time when she was sort of a sub-adult, she was growing at a very quick rate. But it was very hard to get a tape measure onto her to measure her because she was moving so much. So I just sort of had to guess. But I finally was able to get a measurement on her. She now measures, let's see, 3 feet and 8 inches. So she's actually a little bit on the small end, I think, for ball pythons in terms of length. But she is pretty hefty. I don't know if she's just put a lot of weight on or whether she's actually ovulating. I am still looking for a mate for her. She is now about 5 years old. She was born, let's see, I believe it was June 2012. So I think June 2012 of this year, she'll be 5 years old. So she's almost five. Um, and I'm still looking for just the right mate for her. She's a butter black pewter, and I have sort of been looking at the different possibilities of breeding for her, and a lot of them end up getting either a lot of white snakes, or which I don't mind. I like blue-eyed Lucy's for sure. I don't as much like the black-eyed white snakes, but the blue-eyed ones are really pretty. But I would much rather have a pattern. If I can find a mate for her that will bring in some color. You can see that she's got some yellow on her, but I think she has gotten a little bit less yellow and a little bit more brown as she's gotten older. So the yellow is, I'd say, I don't know if you can see it in the camera. Um, yeah, it's a little bit more toward, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe almost a khaki yellow. It's not a really bright yellow. So what I'd like to do, I like her pattern with a lot of the little O shapes. I don't know if you can see. Let me see. On, yeah, on her, let's see. Yeah, on her sides, some of her sides, she's got um, she's got these O patterns, which I love. That's what I'd like to breed for pattern-wise, if possible. But I want to bring in more color. I would like to bring in maybe more orange, more yellow, possibly purple, um, and but if I could also sort of intensify the contrast a little more, that would be nice too. So I'm thinking maybe something with leopard in it, possibly Mojave blackhead, or Pastavi blackhead. I like that combo. Sometimes it has really nice, has these same O patterns, but it has almost this black outline that looks like chalk pastel, which really, has a kind of blushing to it that's really beautiful. And I've seen a few males that I've really liked, but I just didn't have the money for what they were asking. Um, but if anybody's watching this, I have a jewelry shop on Etsy, and ideally, if maybe I could work something out with somebody who can use jewelry for gifts for their wife or several of their family members. You could save them for Christmas or give them for birthdays. I would actually be willing to pretty much, if I could find the right male for velvet, something just really gorgeous um, with several genes. Um, I would be willing to negotiate for anything of equal price in my Etsy shop. Um, my Etsy shop is www.giftbearer.etsy.com. So just go to my shop and take a look at what I have available. Right now, I'm not really taking any custom orders because of my health problems. I have some fine motor problems with my hands, uh, and a lot of the things that I used to do, the more intricate stuff, I haven't been able to do, and I'm actually trying to come up with um, some new lines. I'm sort of venturing into shabby chic, um, and some possibilities of making jewelry with things like lace and fabric, and maybe doing some dimensional fabric type stuff, um, and that I'm thinking might be a little bit easier for me to do with my motor problems than some of the wire wrapping and heavy metal work that I was doing before, that took a lot of fine motor control. But I do have a lot of that stuff still left that has not been sold in my shop. I have sterling silver, I have set stone type things. I have, I think, maybe a little bit of chainmail. I have Native American bead weaving. So it would be just wonderful if the right person would come along who breeds snakes and has some of the things that I'm looking for a mate for velvet, um, and would be willing to trade for some of the things that I have in my Etsy shop. Like I said, I would be willing to really trade anything of equal value. Um, so, just take a look, and if you see things that you'd like, and you have some snakes that I think, that I may be interested in, I'm definitely going to be watching the videos this year of new babies hatching and commenting like I usually do, and looking at the ones that might be prospects for her. I want Velvet to have a very special mate, so that since I don't really have a big collection right now, although I would like to eventually get into recessives as well, and maybe do something with clown, possibly ultramel. Right now, I can really afford only to, to take on one more until, maybe she has a clutch or two, and I'm able to then, reinvest that money. But I really want to get a male that, that has the look that I'm looking for, and so that the two of them can really create some gorgeous babies. And I know that a lot of them, well, that if I am able to get the achieve the look that I'm going for, I'm sure it'll probably be hard to part with them, and I may decide to keep certain ones, but um, I know that if I then sell some of those, then hopefully down the road I'll be able to expand, and I'll be in a better financial position where I can upgrade to some things. And because I'm really, as time goes on, I'm getting more and more interested in ball pythons. I really love them, and they're great snakes, both personality wise and also just the number of patterns and colors is just incredible. I mean, I love looking at everybody's collections and seeing the new, exciting morphs and combos that come along. This is just, it's one of the high points of my day, especially with my being pretty much homebound right now. I spend a lot of time watching ball python videos. And aside from that, I'm also getting into hydroponics. So I've been doing a lot of research into growing my own food. And there again, although it's something enjoyable, it's also a necessity because with my fixed income, I've found a lot of times that I'm not able to feed myself for the whole month. And so I started looking into possibilities, solutions for that. And I really think that hydroponics is going to be really kind of the ultimate solution to world hunger. And it's really amazing what you can do with just, I mean, even if you get a tomato at the grocery store, for instance, you can take the seeds out of that tomato and germinate them and come up with a whole bunch of tomato plants that can then produce lots and lots of food down the line. And tomato plants are something that are fairly easy to grow. You can grow them in soil, but you can also grow them pretty easily hydroponically. And I actually was able to come up with 40, I believe it was 46 tomato plants that I grew from seed. And I was really surprised. I really didn't expect more than about a 50% germination rate, but I got 100% germination rate. Every single one of them sprouted. And I put them in peat pellets, which I had saved years ago from when I used to garden outside in the yard. And since I'm pretty much homebound and mobility challenged now, I'm trying to do as much as I can indoors where I can get to it, since I can no longer really go outside and garden in the yard. I'm really doing a lot of planning now in terms of becoming as sustainable as possible with growing my own food. And I think that will save me a lot of money in the long run, because just in the past year, the price of food at the grocery store has just gone through the roof. And it's gotten to the point where I think I'm probably not the only one. I think there are a lot of people now that are finding it difficult to make their food budget stretch to last them the month, especially people that are disabled and are on a fixed income, or are elderly and are getting a low amount of Social Security. Um, so I think that's pretty much, I guess, in all in all, that's pretty much what I've been doing for the past 6 months or a year. And I've been continuing to take care of my animals, and they provide a whole lot of comfort to me, especially on days when I'm really not feeling well and I'm not feeling up to doing much. They provide me a lot of comfort. And oh, and one more thing I almost forgot to show you. Velvet created an absolutely beautiful shed. She usually doesn't shed this much in one piece. Usually I have to pick pieces off of her because she kind of sheds inconsistently. But let me show you. Yesterday, I guess it must have been last night, she actually shed in almost one continuous piece. She really created a beautiful shed, and I'm probably going to use this in my craft art type stuff. This can be used, the snake shed can be used for mixed media. It can be used to make jewelry. You can decoupage it onto things. You can create little bags with it. There's just all kinds of things that you can do with snake shed that really, that really are cool in terms of creating things. And I really am looking forward to incorporating that into my new line of jewelry with the shabby chic. And I'm going to sort of still have my own Native American spin to it. So it'll be a little different from what everybody else tends to have, the typical shabby chic type stuff. I'm probably going to be at some point incorporating gemstones into it, maybe arrowheads, and some natural materials like this snake shed. If you like jewelry, be sure to check out my shop, and it would be wonderful if if maybe some people would come by, and they might find something that they like, and either purchase it, or if you have somebody in your family or a friend who's into jewelry, be sure to give them the link, because I have lots of things that are still available that are not sold yet, and they're perfectly good. They're just sitting there waiting for the right person to come along who enjoys them. I want these things to be worn, and hopefully, hopefully I can. My goal is to really clear everything out this year so that I can start creating everything new. Because I really want to start fresh with some new designs, and get a lot of new pieces made. Of course, when my condition permits. Because there are some days when I really don't feel well enough to do any crafting, but then there are other days, I have good days where I can go for a pretty decent stretch and create some things. Um, I am I'm doing there's a challenge, sort of a swap, um, that I saw on somebody's YouTube channel, that involves swapping something flower themed. And I've actually been getting into learning a lot of techniques for fabric flowers, and create a playlist for that. And so I'm starting to create some fabric flowers that can be used in jewelry and incorporated into some of the things that I make. And this swap is I think it's going to be exciting and fun. I am partnered uh, with a woman in Florida, and she's going to be making some of her signature flowers for me, and I'm going to be making a piece of flowers themed jewelry for her. And hopefully, we'll both be able to do videos on what we receive, and do an unboxing. So keep your eyes out for that. I think maybe in the next week or two, we should probably both have what each other has made, and be able to show it on camera. So um, okay, from Velvet and me. Um, Happy belated Earth Day. I had hoped to create this video yesterday, but I wasn't really feeling well enough to do so. It's a little bit, let's see, it takes a little bit of doing to figure out how to get everything in frame here. I'm still kind of feeling things out in terms of Movie Maker and this camera here that's built into the laptop. But oh, Velvet is trying to climb all over on top of the laptop screen. But hopefully, uh, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't yet. I hope to be doing more when I get a chance, either on Velvet, on other types of aspects of things that I'm doing, like the hydroponics, on some of the activism that I'm doing. We're still trying to get signatures and people's personal accounts on that petition through change.org that we're doing to try to combat institutional bullying in medical settings. As a result of what happened to me, I'm still having difficulty finding the medical care that I need. And I know that there are a lot of other people out there who are having the same problem. This is a rampant problem. It's underrepresented. It's one of those things that's not really talked about near enough. It's one of those things that has sort of stayed in the shadows, because there's this sacred cow factor when it comes to doctors and medical facilities. Nobody wants to really believe that medical professionals can be perpetrators and can be abusive, but they can. Just like in any other field, there are good eggs and there are bad eggs. And, when you get a bad apple, unfortunately, in the medical field, people tend to back that person up even when they're in the wrong. And patients often don't have an equal chance in order to in order to defend themselves when something like that happens. And that's something that I'd like to change. If you would, if you haven't had a chance, please go over and check the petition, um, and sign it and add your story if you have had some similar experience. It doesn't have to be exactly what happened to me, but if you have had an experience where doctors have defamed you or have, basically accused you of things that were untrue, have slandered or libeled you, and it has, as a result, uh, stood in the way of your medical care, then I think Secretary Sylvia Burwell really needs to hear from you. And on that petition, when you sign the petition, and or add your story, that is auto forwarded to her. She and Health and Human Services Committee need to be made aware of the type of abuses that are going on in the medical system. So this is one way that you can, do a little bit to make a difference in that area, because the more people that speak up and the more people that come out of the closet and out of the shadows about this, the more likely it is that Congress will take us seriously and will see the necessity of changing laws and, creating more protections for patients in the medical care system. So I really encourage you to do that, and stay tuned. There will be more about Velvet as well. For those of you who are here mainly for the snake stuff, we're going to be continuing to do that too. And thank you for watching.